Happy Garifuna Settlement Day! Hello everyone, welcome to 𝐓𝐚𝐿𝐴 and welcome to the special presentation of our tasting table. Today I am being joined by a special guest, Miss Kendra, all the way from Grenada.
Hello everybody, it's so beautiful to be here. I'm feeling blessed to learn a bit more. So yeah, excited to even hear what you have to say.
And experience all the festivities.
Exactly, I'm ready.
And of course, Danisha Martinez, our local librarian right there at Miss Bertie's Community Library.
Hello everyone, I'm happy to be here. Let's showcase our Garifuna culture with
Yes, and of course we know that food plays a huge part when it comes to culture, and the Garifuna culture is no exception when it comes to the multitude of food. Of course, this display that we're going to see here today not only showcases all the food, but also showcases all the tools and equipment needed to prepare these food, as well as other symbolic cultural artifacts and what's not. So our plan for today is gonna take a little tour here at Garifuna here in 𝐓𝐚𝐿𝐴 and talk about the food, talk about all these Garifuna artifacts, and also talk about how we as Belize and I guess over the all those in the diaspora celebrate Garifuna Settlement Day. Of course, Garifuna Settlement Day is celebrated every year here in Belize on the 19th of November. And what's the theme for this year, Miss Dee Dee?
The theme for this year's Garifuna Settlement Day is Garifuna Wabarongo Lida Garifuna Duo 𝐒𝐞𝐭𝐢𝐧𝐚 Agabudaha Lo Sasigo Inebese Lo Wanichigo.
Oh wow, what a beautiful theme indeed. I too believe that it truly represents and describes who we are as Garifuna people here in 𝐓𝐚𝐿𝐴, as well as the other Garifuna villages and towns here in Belize. Belize has approximately 6 Garifuna settlements. That would be 2 major towns, Punta Gorda, Penny, and Dangriga, as well as a few other villages such as here in 𝐓𝐚𝐿𝐴, St. Bite Village, Georgetown Village, and Barranco Village. And we noticed that when the Garifuna people came here in Belize, they mostly settled along the water. We understand that water is a vital source to the survival of the Garifuna people. It's where they get their the fish and seafood that we eat and make all of the dishes with. And of course, I guess it would add to how your experience. I mean, I would rather live by the beach than by the jungle. And the jungle's not too far away either. So I'm sure our ancestors and even those of us in the community here had such a great time. So it's almost afternoon. I'm hungry. Are you girls hungry? Let's go and talk about the different Garifuna dishes, which would include main dishes, porridges, as well as drinks. So let's go and check that out. So right in front of us is a huge spread of Garifuna dishes, which includes various porridges, desserts, main courses, which of course include seafood and breads, traditional Garifuna breads. So let's start with the porridges that we see here in the front here. What all do we have labeled here, Miss Dee Dee?
Okay, we have polali. And I want you to know that most of these porridges is made for the coconut base. So the coconut is the main flavor for these porridges. This polali is made from flour. The 𝐒𝐚𝐬𝐴 is made from dried banana that the Garifuna people put in the sun, and then they beat it to get the powder, and the powder is then used to make this porridge. 𝐓𝐚𝐿 is made from cassava root, which is grated. The starch is squeezed along with the coconut milk and mixed together, and that is what they cook on top of a fire to make the porridge. 𝐒𝐴 is from ripe plantains. I would call this the vegan one. It doesn't have any sugar, it doesn't have any additives, it's simply ripe plantain, coconut milk, and a little ginger for spice. That one is made from flour. We call it Flour Lab, but it's from flour.
Okay, wow. Of course, to all the Belizeans watching, what most people are familiar with when it comes to Garifuna cuisine and when it comes to Garifuna porridge is the 𝐓𝐚𝐿𝐴. the sahau is the most iconic. I would say it's the quintessential Garifuna porridge. It's something, of course, best enjoyed warm. You can't drink it when it's cold. I sometimes put mine in the freezer and eat it as ice cream. But all amazing and unique in their own way. And as Miss Dee Dee rightfully said, these use fresh and local ingredients such as coconut milk, sugar, and local spices that we normally use here. Cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, all these amazing spices. Isn't Grenada the
Yes, it's the island. So nutmeg is what we would put all of that, but nutmeg for sure.
Okay,
yes, let's give it the final kick, you know.
Yes, I love that how we have the right soil and the right temperature to grow all these beautiful spices, because spice really does make a difference in a meal. It does. Have you ever tasted something without any spice? You want to cry. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are and however you will be celebrating your Garifuna Settlement Day, I would encourage you to grab a sahau, but also don't forget that it's not only sahau that exists. Try and see if you could get the gungude, the pulali, the gureto, the bohololo. All of these new to me. I only found out about the bohololo today. Amazing porridges in the Garifuna culture. So let's move on. What else do we have here? This is saying what? This is saying 𝐒𝐞𝐽. It looks a little, oh, it's liquid. Okay, so 𝐒𝐞𝐽 is a drink. And it is made from grating and mixing a few ingredients, Miss Dee Dee. What ingredients are typically used when making the 𝐒𝐽 drinks?
Mainly cassava, ginger that is fermented and then it's strained with a sweetener if you want. If you want, you put sweetener, but it's mainly fermented cassava with ginger.
Okay, so it's fermented. It's not something that's made in one day or just in one session. So it's fermented for probably about what, three days or a week? 3 days. And so it has a little bit of alcohol kick, or is it for children or no?
Mainly I see adults drink it.
Okay, so let's just say for now, since it's fermented and may have some alcohol content, let's keep it for the adults. For you, another great drink there. And so let's move on here. So more on the sweet side. These are traditional Garifuna desserts that we see here. All right, so Miss Dee Dee, can you let us know what we have here?
First is baked cassava pie, but instead of making a huge pot of pie, they make the dough and it's put inside and then it's baked. Cassado is the same as cassava cake, and they use cassava and other main spices along with nutmeg, cinnamon, and they bake it with coconut milk as well. So it's and then bake.
I see people also locally would call the cassava pudding plastic. That's a fun name to call a dessert, plastic. If you hear someone talking about Garifuna cuisine and you hear them say plastic, just know they're referring to the cassava cake. I thought that was interesting. And what's this?
And this is 𝐒𝐿𝐿 made from sweet potatoes. So the sweet potatoes are then grated, cooked the same way, and then after it is the spices are added and baked. Coconut milk is also the main base in this pie. So these are Garifuna desserts.
What's also known, what Belizeans know as the cassava pound. So in Garifuna, the word for that is 𝐒𝐿𝐿. Okay,
sweet potato.
Sweet potato pie. Kendra,
yes.
Is there any sweets or anything preparation methods similar to these?
Yes.
Home in Grenada?
Yes. Well, it smells. It smells already like Grenada. Yes, we have something like the you say the pongo? Yes. And I think I was in Dominica recently, and I'm pretty sure they had something like this as well, the cassada. Yes. So it's nice to see all the different countries. There's similarities. Yeah. Yeah, but it smells good.
Yeah. Yes. Plenty of room for sweet tooth.
Yes.
So don't think it's only about eating a hefty bowl of the hudutu. It's after eating a heavy meal, most people usually want something sweet. So
everybody
to know that there is sweet stuff going on. And let's move on over here. This is another sweet dessert. This looks very big and hefty. What do we have here?
𝐓𝐚𝐿𝐿.
That's a big word. 𝐓𝐚𝐿𝐿. So that's the name for this. And what is it exactly?
This is the sweet rice pie. 𝐓𝐚𝐿𝐴 is also known as the sweet rice pie. It's made with cooked rice in coconut milk with spices, and then it is baked.
It's like a rice pudding.
Rice pudding.
Yeah.
And it has its spices. There's also a song with this. Super G always sings, she want this sweet rice. This is the 𝐓𝐴.
Awesome. Lots of sweets. So now let's move on to like main courses typical main courses in the Garifuna cultural cuisine. Of course, because here in Hopkins and most of the Garifuna settlements are from the seaside, we, as I explained before, get a lot of our protein from the ocean. So that would mostly come in forms of fish and other seafood such as the conch, maybe lobster, shrimp. But those are the main ones. I don't think we dabble into any other thing like octopus or squid or anything like that. I haven't seen that, but this is what the main dishes look like. And of course, the main proteins are usually fish. Typically, one that's abundant would be snapper. I see snapper get served a lot at restaurants and even in people's homes. It's the most affordable and easily accessible. So if it's plentiful and it's affordable, then people are going to buy it. It's going to be used. And of course, these are fish that are our local, our traditional fishermen go out there in their dugout canoe and they paddle their way out there. I know the oldest fisherman here in Hopkins is James Bobo Castillo. He is almost 95 years old. He still paddles out there by himself to fish and sell fish. It's something that he loves. It's not a chore. And it's great to see that he, as a golden citizen, is still keeping the culture alive by doing that. Because it's easy to get a motorized boat and go out there. It's faster, but it's a different experience. So let's keep the culture alive. So we have quite a few main dishes labeled here. Tahara, bundiga, I can't pronounce that. What else is there?
And we call it bomo.
Oh, that's short for it. So let's start first with the tahara. Tahara is the sliced fried plantains. And of course, that is accompanied with a nice fried fish there on the side. And of course, plantains are eaten both ways in the Garifuna culture. It's eaten green and it's also eaten ripe. So this is having it one way that is green. And what about the bundiga, Miss Dee Dee? How is the bundiga prepared?
Bundiga, main dish is a main dish and it's made from grated green plantains. And to top it all off, you will either serve it with fried fish or any seafood that you like. But it's in a coconut based soup. The grated plantain are put in the soup, simmers up, and after it's finished, you can use fish as your main side.
I guess being on the island as well for you, is fish also a main part of the diet?
Yes, well, both of my parents are from fishing villages, different ones. So I grew up eating fish. But I had the fish here, it was amazing. And he was telling me about the different types, the hog fish, the snapper, all the different types, which I never heard of before. But it was really good to see how, fish is a big part of the culture here and the food here, because I'm a fish girl. I love fish. I love fish. But yeah, we don't do the grated banana, but usually we just steam it, boil it. But I think that I'm doing a cooking class tomorrow, so I'm very excited about it. I mean, the food here has been incredible, and I tried the red paste.
Oh,
the Mayan red paste that you season the
ricotta, or is it ricotta?
So he told me that is a key ingredient for the stewed chicken. I don't know.
Yes. There is not one Belizean household that does not have ricotta. It's made from the anato plant. It's like a seed that's ground up.
Yeah.
It's red when it's there in the pod, and then they ground it up to make that a powder, but they clump it together. I guess add a little bit of a liquid to make it clump together. It's sold in these small plastic bags, but it is a staple.
Yes.
If you go in that house and doesn't have ricotta, you walk right back out.
Yeah. So I tried the ricotta and I tried the stewed chicken, and it was good.
Awesome.
So maybe I'll get some to go home, but we don't have that.
And what I love about these carbs, such as plantain and banana, they're so versatile. they're so versatile. Like I said, it's you're using it for a dessert, you're using it for the main course, you're using it for something else, you're using it green, you're using it ripe, you're using it steamed, boiled, baked, and you would think that all of it would taste the same. No, the different processes bring out different unique flavors. So it's not like you're going to get Clyde, feel like Clyde, it's not going to get Clyding for you or feel like you're eating the same thing over and over. No, the Garifuna people got very creative. It wasn't just one meal over and over again. Look at this full display here. They got really creative, and it's great to see how food has evolved, but also still try to keep that authenticity.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that it's might not be 100% what was in St. Vincent once had hundreds of years ago, but it's still something similar, and it's being passed on from generation to generation.
Don't leave it go.
And it is.
What do we have over here? Oh, what's the chungwa?
Dancing again, chopped up in with some thick.
So is that similar to tapo, or you would consider it different? It's
The one from Belizean, one in tapo is from.
oh yes, from green banana. Okay, so that's another variation. Okay, I've never had that one before. And the cassava bread, this one's a little bit thick.
This is the thicker cassava bread that you need to cook in order to get it soft. They normally put it in the coconut milk, especially, and that creates a lovely starch dish for you.
Okay. So instead of having your meal with tortilla, flour tortilla, corn tortilla, you can have it with cassava, and it's even used in the huduto dishes. That's dipped in the soup. Of course, everyone knows what the huduto is. It's the coconut stew with spices and a few vegetables, and the boiled green and ripe plantain. You beat it in a special the mata? Yeah, the mata, and then you put it there. But if you don't have plantain, it's good to know that you can actually have it with the cassava. Specifically this one, since this cools the soup better since it's thicker. Miss Dee Dee, you would say so?
Yeah, it's the soup.
Okay, awesome. And what's that over there? It looks in the shape of like a tamale, but it's not. And the way it's boiled in the leaf. Like it could be a tamale, but it's not. So what is it?
It is our banana tamales, I guess. You wrap it in banana leaf when you cook it, and putting it in the leaf allows the banana to come out fine and smooth. It doesn't stick, and it cooks properly. So this is the rasa from grated banana, again, seasoned, coconut milk, add your spices, and then make a wrap in the banana leaf and place it in hot boiling water to cook. And then you have your banana tamales loaded with the rasa.
Okay. And does the banana leaf add a specific flavor, or what's the purpose, or is just to protect it from the boiling water?
It does have a little flavor, natural, and it protects it from sticking, so the leaf doesn't stick.
So you don't have to put oil on it or something like that?
No, it won't stick.
Oh, that's good to know. Awesome. And what else do we have here? That's tapo.
Another dish made from banana. Cooked banana in coconut milk, spices, along with some fish for your side.
Yummy. What I love about all these coconut milk is that if you're lactose intolerant, Garifuna cuisine is the perfect thing for you. If you're lactose intolerant, or if you're vegan or if you're vegetarian, you don't have any guilt in partaking in all of these foods. You feel good knowing that it's organic and fresh coconuts. You look around Hopkins, coconut trees are everywhere. My yard alone has probably 10 or 15 coconuts. But yeah, so coconuts abundant here in Belize as well as the Caribbean. So we make use of it. Don't let those coconuts go to waste, whether they're green or whether they're dried. Because it's mostly the dried coconuts that are used for these. The dried matured coconuts are grated and used for most of these dishes. But on a hot day like today, you get a coconut off the tree. I feel like it's naturally refrigerated too. That coconut's gonna be cold. You cut that open and you drink that water. All the electrolytes, everything gets you going. So, all from nature. We're so thankful for that. And what else do we have here? Something that looks like bread.
Okay, so this is what we call 𝐒𝐞𝐽𝐽. Johnny Cakes would be the English name, and Garifuna is 𝐒𝐞𝐽. It's actually our bread, which is made with coconut milk. Again, knead some baking powder. You add your oil or your shortening, and you knead and you bake. And these are the little design you make with a fork and you bake over fire. I bake these with a natural fire hat. I don't make. Some people use the grill, but the fire hat gives it a taste.
That smoky flavor. You know, food that's cooked on an open flame, it just hits different. It just hits different. Anything. It doesn't have to be the Johnny Cakes, rice and beans, anything, soup. It's perfect. It's perfect. Go to the next here.
I think we have something similar as well, but I'm trying to remember the name of it. Just speak. And I don't. Grenada will come for me if I get it wrong. It is very soft.
What would you typically eat it with?
Over here.
Honestly, mostly for breakfast. You have this for breakfast. Yes, mostly breakfast. So anything you have for your breakfast, your saltfish, your corned beef. I don't eat corned beef, but yeah.
I enjoy it best when it's just immediately hot out of the oven or out of that fire hat. Like, cut that open and I just put a little bit of butter. Oh, perfect. Of course, it can be accompanied with anything at all if you're really for breakfast. And lastly, we have the
𝐓𝐴, the famous 𝐓𝐴. This is again, it has a process. You need to grate your cassava, squeeze out the excess juice, right, in a bowl, and then bake on a huge comal and then flip over to get this bread. Actually, this type of 𝐓𝐴 stays a long time. You can have it wet with some egg, fish, anything. It's actually another cassava bread. So this is 𝐓𝐴's cassava bread. And we have Bailey here. I know in the Caribbean they call them dumplings.
Yeah, well, I've never seen it flat like this before.
because the Garifuna people make them flat.
Yeah, for dumplings, and you can serve them with every side that like fish, chicken. You have it beside another flour dumpling boiled in water and then take it out.
Because when I looked at it first, it reminded me of the roti that you. But I'm like, it's different to the roti. So now I know it's a dumpling. Okay,
Well, we call it roti here. We call them tortilla.
Yes.
Yeah, that goes on the comal, but this is boiled.
Yes.
And sometimes it can be accompanied with our the tomato sauce. And it doesn't even have to be fish. There's also what Belizeans call boil up. So boil up is similar to the Bailey. You add the red sauce, and it can be Belizeans love their pigtail, so they would have pigtail with it, and other ground foods such as sweet potatoes, yampi. What's another word for yampi? The purple potato. Yampi. Is that what you guys call it?
Yam.
Oh, okay.
But it's white.
Okay, well, it's a different type of yam. It's a purple one.
Right.
Called yampi.
Yeah, you don't have the purple one, but I have tried the purple yam.
Yeah, so and cocoa. I'm not sure if you guys have cocoa as well.
As in cocoa powder?
No, cocoa is as a ground food. I think they also call it taro. Is that what they call taro? I'm not sure, but it's another ground food. We have a lot of ground food here, and so this dish would be the perfect dish to throw in all of those boiled ground foods together and then just eat it.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be so filling, so filling. You can't even eat for a while. But they'll take a nap.
Yeah,
food is filling.
Oh, yam, I don't know, but the white is what's more common. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we call the cocoa.
Yeah, but I would like to try this because I've actually never seen dumpling flat before. Yeah.
All right, so we also said that we would also be showing you all of these tools that are used with preparing or storing typical Garifuna food or for everyday activities. And so they're all labeled here as was the food. So Miss Dee Dee is gonna tell us a little bit about what the Garifuna names and what they're actually traditionally should be used for. What's this right here on this end, Miss Dee Dee?
Okay, this is the 𝐓𝐴, what we use to feed our plantain for the 𝐒𝐞𝐽𝐽, famous Garifuna food. And this is the 𝐴na, the big bowl that the plantain is placed in. Here we have bagara. This was our traditional case that these people used to carry load, carry clothes, to travel. wherever they go, they want to take their stuff. This is what they use as their storage. It's pretty sturdy, it's a bagger, so they would probably just hold it. So wherever they're going, they would take it along with them to pack their needs. Basically, storage again for anything in your house, whether it's stuff, clothing, whatever you want to store, a basket is used. Here's another one, beautiful one. Yeah, a smaller basket. And
how talented were they, and are they still now to intricately weave all of these together? How long would it take? Is it a one-person job? It amazes me to see how they saw that they needed something, looked around in nature and say, I'm going to pull some of these twigs, I'm going to pull that bark, I'm going to make something. I needed to put something in there. I'm going to make it, instead of, incorporating plastics and all of that. Many of these are still used to this day. Many of the older folks, our grandmothers and our aunties still use these in the house because nothing beats the original. The Tupperware, what's not, nothing compared to these. And I believe that they still provide some insulation, right? If something is that warm is put in there, would still keep it warm a little bit longer. Yeah, and if Kendra, you want to see this? This is something that's light.
No, it's not.
Yeah, a lot of strength to use that and found that. I'm sure you've seen clips of how fufu is made in Africa and whatnot. It's a similar method. Of course, Garifuna has African origins, and it's normally the woman that would prepare the meal, but sometimes they would call on a strong male to go and pound that. And this is a small one. I've seen bigger ones. It's a small one here. I've seen bigger ones, and you really have to make sure that you arch your back and you really pound that, because you can't be tickling it. You gotta. The plantains have to be grounded to. I don't want to say mush, but it has originally they're just hardened and boiled, and you have to really change that. Of course, by adding a little bit of water. You don't want it to be too dry, and of course, mixing the right combination of green and ripe plantains. What would you say, 50-50, or what would be the ideal combination? Because I've heard different opinions on the combination for ripe and green plantains.
Some people like their plantains sweet, so if you want to do a 50-50, that's okay, but I prefer a little bit sweet, so I would go with 80% of the green and 30% of the ripe plantain. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the good thing about it. Everyone, you can get different choices, and every restaurant usually has their own unique and creative way how they would serve it. So if you taste it at this restaurant, it might be slightly different than another restaurant. Just know their combination of the ripe and green plantain might be different.
Yeah. There's any smaller? Because I thought this was a big one.
No, I've never seen one smaller than this. Wow. They get really big, and this is solid wood.
Yeah.
It is solid wood, so careful. And what else do we have here? It's huge. What is this material? What is
𝐓𝐴𝐶.
𝐓𝐴𝐶.
What is actually, this is used for the cassava bread again. This is what they use to strain out the cassava, to make it dry, to make it useful. So this is what they would use to strain the cassava. Dry cassava root that they grated.
Isn't this ingenious? Instead of like those plastic strainers or the metal strainers, they take time to take this twig and they bend it, and they use the different twigs to put it together, and then of course you have to intricately weave. You can see that there's a pattern. Look at the pattern there. I guess they go one direction and then they come back in another direction. This is art. This is art, and this is a skill that I'm sure takes a lot of time and a lot of practice to master. So I'm so happy to know that it's still being used today to help make cassava bread, which is the ereba.
All right. This is actually what they use as a strainer to squeeze out the excess cassava to make cassava bread.
Very pretty. Yes. Are traditional tools like this still being used in Grenada, or have you
Not
seen
really.
other parts of the Caribbean?
I mean, I've seen some of them, but you don't really Today, not really. But growing up, you know, you would learn about it. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we really use that.
As someone that you're prominent with and specializes with social media youth, would you say that as we have now come into the age of technology and with all these new inventions and innovations, some people that plays a huge role in everyone preferring to go the easier route and kind of outsourcing all these older ways of doing things?
Yes. I think also it's trying to cater for the tourists from America and so on. You're trying to, you know, more of the foods, especially. I feel like we've lost a lot of our traditional foods, or you would see the restaurants have more American foods on the menu. And I'm like, but people travel so far. I'm sure, like, yes, you could have different options, but I think we need to have more of our local dishes on menus and in our restaurants. It's sometimes hard to find, like, proper local food unless it's, you know, something in the town where only the locals go. But I think it's extremely important for the tourists to come and read it. I mean, they've traveled far, come and experience a different type of
You don't
food.
want to see the American thing.
Yeah, I agree. So that's something I wish we could change. Yeah.
But first, we have to voice our opinions. We have to say, hey, this is not okay.
Yeah.
We are losing it. Look at the next generation. And what about the generation after that? We need to reintegrate them back into these way of things. And of course, not forcibly, but let them see the importance. Let them see why we use it and why is it important to preserve that cultural heritage. Miss Dee Dee, you often have many events or programs there at Miss Bertie's library that reminds these children of their cultural heritage. How important is it to you or us as a Garifuna society to preserve these cultural aspects of the heritage?
Well, I see culture as your identity, and I always explain this to visitors and children of our community. Without identity, who are you? So language is the most important thing that I focus on. And reading and writing Garifuna is something that we need to get the kids starting from their young. So as they age, they can know how to make the sounds and write the language. The language is very important. And a lot of the older people are now the ones that we need to assist with teaching these children the sound of these letters for pronouncing these Garifuna words. So language is the key for me when it comes to preserving the culture. Without language, we are not a people. So that is what I focus on mainly at the library.
Okay. I have a question because I saw the Garifuna dictionary over there. But are there, you know, storybooks for the children in Garifuna?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And not a lot of stories are written in Garifuna, so the library also has a preserved collection that is not. These books are not allowed to be borrowed, so they're kept at the library because of its availability in the country. Not a lot of books are available in Garifuna.
So yeah, let's remind everyone, let's continue working with the children. It's not a one-day thing. It won't change after a few months. It's a gradual and ongoing process, preserving our natural cultural heritage. Not only in Garifuna, because Belize is filled with many cultures. Yeah. But we are a Garifuna community. Garifuna is what we speak. So we're going to focus on that for now. And we encourage the other cultures and communities to continue working hard to preserve their cultural heritage. It's something, as we can see, time has shown that can easily lost. But it can also, with time and hard work, you have to put more hard work now to regain that. Make sure the children, they continue to love and appreciate it. I mean, your culture, like Miss Dee Dee mentioned, is your identity. If you don't have an identity, you will be lost. Who are you? What do you represent? What do you want in life? Yeah. And it's so great to see that this national holiday has prompted and signaled all of us to continue doing so. It gives us a reason to continue pushing forward. Garifuna people came from a long line of resilient, perseverant people. Just the story of the journey from St. Vincent to Honduras in itself on just the dugout canoes. How many miles is that? 1,800 miles? I think I saw. It's a really long distance. And to see that they made it. So we don't have any excuse. we should not have any excuse. If our ancestors were able to do it, so can we. No excuses. Excuses won't get us anywhere. We're proud of what we have accomplished. We're proud of what we have, and we should be proud to continue preserving that cultural heritage. Yes. You showed us the small ruguma, but actually, they come in larger sizes, right, Miss Dee Dee? I'm seeing a large one right over there. You want to come and show us how it works? And is this the typical setup for putting all of these together? I see them on trees. This is a makeshift. What would you call this? It's not a pulley. But look at the length of this. This is what, 10 feet, 12 feet? This is really long. And so I guess the grape cassava would be loaded in when it's vertical, and then afterwards they would hook it up. And then is any manual pressure applied, or you just let nature take its course?
Nature
gravity to pull it down.
Nature takes its course, because this actually pulls out the juice.
Really? This seems pretty tight.
So you don't go to anything.
Yeah,
But it is for
you add force.
It's incredible. Wow.
Yes.
It's so pretty as well. I don't know, I just love the pattern.
It's effective. Yeah. It's so effective. You would think that, they didn't know what they were doing. They were just guessing. No, it's been tried and proven to work, and with such great intricacy and attention to detail from top to bottom. Wow. I hope to see my children using this, my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. Let's head back over there. I wanna talk about the musical instruments. I can do it. Of course, there is no culture without music. Music plays a very important role when it comes to expressing who we are as Garifuna people, showcasing our emotions, or a special event, or a reason to celebrate. And many occasions call for music and dance. Music, of course, you can't have music and you don't want to dance. Music calls for dance, and everyone's familiar with the punta. Everyone knows the punta. Super G made sure that punta and the Punta Rebels made sure that it was worldwide. The punta, which is, of course, it makes sense, because if we look at our brothers and sisters in Africa, a lot of the way how we move our body, a lot of the movement comes from our waistline, especially for the females. So punta is a very fast waist moving motion, and of course that pace is dictated by the beat of the drums. And in Garifuna culture, there are different types of music and dances. Besides the punta, there is also the
which is using the arms, moving to the beat. The chumba is like moving your toes. Another one is the famous paranda, that is front back, you move to a beat. And we have Jai, that's when the ladies would open up their skirt and move with their toes. And the Wanaragua, that is the famous jumping lumja dance that they use for the drumming. So we have several dances in there, but the famous is the punta.
Yes, yeah, that's the one that livens up the crowd. It's more fast-paced, fast-moving. And what's important to note is the Wanaragua that she mentioned, also called Chekanari. It's mostly done by males. They would have a specific attire. They would wear a mask and a headdress, and they would perform this very intricate movement. Yeah, the Jankunu, and it's a very beautiful performance to watch. Actually, every year in December there is the national Wanaragua competition right in Dangriga town. So I think it's usually between Christmas and New Year's. I need to check the date for this year. So you guys should look into that. If you can't attend, at least be able to watch it. The national Wanaragua competition. So amazing to see. It's a team. The singers, which are called Gayusas, the drummers and what's not, everything together. And when we think about Garifuna musical instruments, everyone knows that we use the drums. Garau? Yeah. And then we also have the maracas, shakas, but in Garifuna, the word for the maracas is... Okay. And how are these made? Is this... It looks like it's made from
a all of these, most of Garifuna crafts are from the jungle. So this is a pan, and then it's dried. This fruit is dried.
The calabash.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Calabash.
Yes. But in the Garifuna word for calabash.
And these beads are from plants again, dry seeds that they find. Some red ones. I used to see my grandpa use the red ones. It's the seed inside that makes the sound.
Yes.
And I come from a palace. They're called rosary beads, clubs, or something like that. But they're beautiful. And to see how everything just comes together to create beautiful dance, beautiful music in times of celebration. But not only in times of celebration, in times of mourning, or in times of when it comes to a special ceremonial ritual that usually takes place in the sacred temple called the 𝐓𝐚𝐿𝐵𝐷𝐵. You would observe families coming together to pay homage to a cause or just to give thanks. Every couple of months that would happen. So much going on that a lot of people don't know about. So I also wanted to point out about the Garifuna flag here that you can also see behind us. This is a Garifuna flag. This is a symbol, also one of our national symbols here for the Garifuna culture. And I've seen different patterns, but is this the correct pattern? Black, white, yellow?
Yes.
Because I've seen sometimes they've switched it up.
The white is always the middle part of the so it is the correct pattern.
Okay, so if you ever see this flag, of course you're going to see it all over the Garifuna communities and of course in the culture capital of Danbriga. But just know that this symbolizes the Garifuna culture and it has different meanings. I know there's deeper meanings, but a light meaning that I looked up, the white symbolized peace and the black symbolized resistance and endurance, and the yellow also, I guess, symbolizes something similar to that. So a lot of thought. Oh, yes. You learn very quickly.
Yes,
also,
the lost souls as well.
Yeah, our people,
Yeah.
Yes.
Whenever I look at the first color, what comes to my mind is always Africa. So it's always, I think the first meaning for this is our people.
That we are one. It's one Africa, it's one Caribbean. And no matter where in the world that you go, you as a black person, you will find someone that looks like you. And you might have different stories, but at the end of the day, we all came from one place. And that should unite us more than it should divide us. So, that's amazing. So I hope, Kendra, you came all the way from Grenada to learn a little bit about the Garifuna culture and how we celebrate it here in Belize. If you will still be here on Wednesday, our community is having a small parade that's in honor of the Garifuna Settlement Day. Of course, the nearby town, Danbriga, which is, you can see it from here, if you look out at sea, was dubbed the culture capital of the country. They are having a huge parade on Wednesdays. Usually in the afternoons, there's going to be marching bands, performers, music, a big truck with a lot of speakers and a lot of music and people dancing behind it. An amazing spectacle for locals and visitors. So that's something that everyone looks forward to. And but before that, on the morning of Garifuna Settlement Day, as early as 5-6, there is the reenactment of the arrival called the 𝐓𝐚𝐬𝐿.
That's that name.
Yes. And how can you describe that? What exactly takes place?
That is just symbolizing how the people came from Belize and who are the leaders of the country, including the British. So when these people came, they had to ask for permission to be here. They didn't just come and settle. Some of them had to have permission. So the British had to grant them permission to settle here. And most of the places that they settled were the coastal areas of
Yeah, and this was the largest mass arrival in the early 1800s, arrival from Honduras. Of course, the Garifuna people were living there for quite some time. They kind of were infused into that Spanish culture because Honduras was colonized by Spain, and then they came here to Belize. So there are Garifuna people in the diaspora, including Honduras, as far as Nicaragua. There's quite a few living in the U.S., but for the Caribbean and Central America, it's mainly Belize and Honduras. And we are separated by seas and land, but we're united by hope and what the struggles that we've collectively been through and preserving our cultural heritage.
And it's beautiful because Livingston in Guatemala has their celebrations on the 26th. Here is the 19th, so people, if they can, travel.
Yes, that is an even bigger celebration. I have never been and I plan to go.
Yeah, it's a really rich culture, and it's nice to see you guys are doing an excellent job. And I like how in Hopkins specifically, most things are like family run. You know, you go to a restaurant, it's the auntie, the mother-in-law, you know, the children all together working in the business, and it's honestly, it's really nice, and everybody has treated me so lovely, welcoming, teaching me to drum, teaching me the history, and yeah, I'm having a lovely time. So if you guys would come to Belize as well, I would recommend it 100%.
And that truly is what community means, everyone coming together for a greater cause. There is a saying in Garifuna, please correct me if I'm mispronouncing it, Miss Dee Dee, Aubo Amuru no, which means I for you and you for me. And that literally is, I believe, translates to what community is. It's not just one person that makes a community, it's everyone coming together, understanding their roles and knowing how to do it, but not only that, knowing that you can lean on others if you fall short. And it's so great. Belize is a melting pot of culture, filled with so many cultures, not only the Garifuna culture as we mentioned before, but we all are facing the same financial challenges, the same risk of modernization, taking away from our heritage, and so have to all put up a great fight in preserving all of this so that the future generations do have something that they can identify as and be proud of.
A lot of product.
Yes. And yes, continue eating, continue sampling the Garifuna food. If you haven't tried one before, try a new one. Everyone likes different things. It's attracted to different flavors and spices. So I learn a lot through my belly.
And if you're vegan, remember the food is all plant-based. Okay, so if you're vegan, Garifuna dishes are always here. Purut is vegan if you don't want any fish. Everything made with that purut is from the farms. Vegan food.
This has been lovely. But thank you all for watching, and I hope you learned something new and exciting about the rich Garifuna culture. And of course, remember that we are all Belizeans, we are all one, and we all want the same thing. So we want to wish everyone a happy and safe Garifuna Settlement Day.